Okay, we're gonna be playing Skyrim, and while playing Skyrim, I want to try a Skyrim and a creepypasta reaction. So this is by No Ordinary Archives, Haunted Gaming, Blood Night Retreat. It's 23 minutes, so you're gonna be sitting here for a while. So, everybody get your popcorn, get your snacks. I got some drinks. Let's begin. I lowered my volume down a little bit. It's going to be the same exact volume as it would be for me if I had my volume all the way up, but you guys can still hear it. I did a test run. Here we go. Also, if there's swearing, I apologize. I can't help that. It's just the story.
Hello, guys and gals. Welcome back to another episode of Haunted Gaming. This time, we're doing a creepypasta called The Elder Scrolls V: Skyrim: The Blood Knight's Retreat.
By the way, I love this guy, No Ordinary Commentaries. I love him. So it goes to him. Someone re-uploaded all his videos because he got terminated apparently. So let's listen to Blood Knight's Retreat. One of my favorite Skyrim creepypastas. Starting right now. Everybody get your snacks, your drinks. Let's get started. And if you guys enjoyed this, what kind of creepypasta and video games should I play while listening to it? Post your ideas in my comments for creepypasta reactions. I'm about to have gameplay for it too because it echoes on the TV because it's annoying. And it's like sync everything up. It's really dumb. So let's sit back, relax. Let's get started with Blood Night Retreat.
The Elder Scrolls V: Skyrim, Game of the Year for 2011. One of the best games ever to be created, any cultural phenomenon. But with every game comes out one person whose twisted mind decides to tweak the game a bit to create a horrifying story. And with Bethesda's Softworks Creation Kit download, as well as their renowned creations, the game that popularized the arrow in the knee internet meme would soon adopt an alternate world, full of darkness and evil. See, back in January of 2012, I purchased Skyrim for my PC, after hearing nothing but good reviews from everybody at my old high school. So using $60 worth of Walmart gift cards that I had saved for several years, I finally had the game in my hands at 7 o'clock one Saturday morning.
A lot of fun.
Accompanied with my dad's promise that he wouldn't let my siblings or my mother know that it was an M-rated game, as long as I promised that neither party watched me play it or see the game. My parents, my mother especially, despises M-rated games in our house. I quickly popped the shining disc into the laptop that I'd got for Christmas of 2011.
Thank goodness my parents love me. And yet I cannot play GTA because I'm an adult. Whatever, I'm not gonna go on a rant.
For running through the usual installation issues with Steam and downloading, damn my slow internet connection, and after 4 hours of ceaseless torment and anguish has reduced my patience to absolute zero, I was finally able to play the game. It was good, the graphics blew my mind, and the game quickly rose to my #1 favorite of all time. Of course, I could also see why everybody loved it so much. Anyways, so after bringing my Nord character named Dante up to level 5, I was researching the history of the Elder Scrolls series when I came upon Steam's workshop. I was rendered speechless and dumbfounded by a vast library of amazing fan creations, quests, characters, weapons, and armor. All of that, these amazingly creative people that labored intensely for what could have been hours, days, or even weeks to build. I fell upon a downloading spree, getting as many of these mods as I could fit onto my computer. So after a long and treacherous road of downloading and installing these mods, I played my beloved game once again, eliminating any troublesome mods that either didn't work, totally fucked my game up, or were just plain worthless. Then one particular quest intrigued me, however, though. It was entitled Quest: The Legend of the Blood Knight. I picked up a rare and hard-to-find book called The Legend of the Blood Knight from the corpse of one of the blind men, or the blind monsters known as the Falmer.
Hey, just to let everybody know, this could work as an actual mod. Like, it's just too perfect not to work as a mod. Fantastic story, fantastic story. It really works for like an actual mod for a game.
In a Dwemer ruin known as Blackreach. Reading through it, the usual drumbeat sounded, and a quest title faded into the top of my screen called Blood Knight's Retreat. Having downloaded and enjoyed the mod, Quest, in the realms of Daedra, I tossed aside the quest on. Not that I was doing it anyways. Dovahkiin, I wanted to do a bit of exploration. And so then I allowed the Blood Knight's Retreat to be my active quest. I read the journal entry, and it stated, I read a book called The Legend of the Blood Knight, describing an old Nordic myth of an evil dragonborn that had murdered Emperor Loknir, the Lionhearted, before ascending to the throne, raining terror and death upon the folk of the Empire, before being tortured and skinned alive by Tiber Septim I, who has been his second in command. The book mentioned a portal to a distant realm of oblivion, even avoided by the Daedric lords, located deep within the Nordic crypt known as Devil's Cave. And that the Blood Knight will return Altered Horizons. I am to investigate the tomb and locate the portal. My first investigation was labeled to find the haunted island, and my arrow marker ended up pointing to the city of ghosts, almost beyond the game's world. After hours of travel, I had no fast travel markers around here, and the nearest city was halfway across the map. I finally arrived at the shore of the sea, finding it full of corrupted shades and draw death overlords. I easily killed them, diving into the sea to swim towards the distant marker. I noticed that all the music had faded away, and the only sound effects was wind blowing and what sounded like slow, high-pitched wailing. The more I swam, I could begin to hear the sound of twisted, echoing laughter around me. And it wasn't directional, like most voices. It was all-encompassing, omnipresent, like the voice of Molag Bal or any of the other Daedric princes. Whispers emerged from within the wind, echoing, and the game world darkened tremendously to the point where it was night. Even though the game clock read it was shortly after 10 in the morning, the whispers surrounded me, and I recognized them as those I played in the abandoned house in Markarth, during Molag Bal's Daedric item quest, the House of Horror. A thick fog had descended over the game world as well, and in them I could see shadows, like people walking before fading away, and I could see faces twisted in pain, terrified expressions in the water and in the fog everywhere. I was surrounded by these nightmarish entities, and the usual drum solo signaling the beginning of the quest sounding again. Only the messages that faded in read, "You are being watched." The messages admittedly very spooky, especially with the nightmare-inducing faces swirling around. But the human curse of curiosity bested my judgment, and I continued on. As I swam towards a quest marker, the quest added drums sounded again, and a new message appeared, reading, "He sees you. He knows you are coming." Suddenly, a hellish scream of terror, a male scream appeared, distant at first, but speeding closer until it was upon me in less than a second, and a screaming man's face, white as snow, twisted and morphed, sped right towards me at an impossible speed, disintegrating away into fog inches before my face. This scared the living crap out of me, and I instantly returned to my desktop, turning off the speakers. I didn't have speaker add-ons, they were built into the laptop. As soon as I returned to the game, a new message appeared. I wouldn't do that if I were you. I continued on in silence, and the message appeared again. "You need sound to finish this mission." I was struck speechless, and suddenly the sound returned, loud and booming. I returned to the desktop, finding that the volume had been cranked to max. I muted the bar, returning to the game, but then the sound came on again. Again, I turned the volume bar to low, but it immediately jumped back to max. Alarmed, I shut down the game, restarting my computer as I restarted Skyrim, making sure the sound was off. And as soon as I loaded the autosave point, coincidentally, right after the "I wouldn't do that if I were you" message, the sound returned again, and I finally gave up, needing to complete this mission to satisfy my curiosity. This mod was cool, freaky, but cool. Suspension of disbelief returning, I continued on with the mission, and after several more minutes, I saw a dark silhouette emerge from the fog. Thunder rumbled, and a faint snow began to fall. And upon touching the shore of this island, completely barren, looking as if it could be more suiting for a Fallout 3 landscape than a Skyrim one, the quest updated, and a message appeared on screen saying, "Haunted Isle discovered." Checking my quest objectives, it read, "Completed, find the haunted island." Then objective added, "Locate Devil's Cairn."
Dang.
And a new directional marker.
I'm sorry, I'm not.
Pointing to the heart.
I'm not talking because I'm concentrating. I'm sorry. I just want to hear what's I shouldn't. I know I shouldn't do reaction to this while playing, but I don't. It's hard. I don't really react on this channel anymore. Only when like stuff comes up from multiverses, that's when I usually do it. But I am paying attention to it. Don't worry. Not even halfway through yet.
On the official soundtrack, it is entitled "Silent Footsteps." The island itself was like a hill, peaking at the dead center of the island. and it was almost completely dead. Hell, the trees were skeletal, appearing charred. The flames burned in little pockets here and there. The island was infested with shades, skeletons, a high-level drawer, making it a bitch to reach the crypt. But once I finally arrived at the peak, I heard a call of a dragon and the flapping of wings. The dragon battle music began, and I looked up, bow and arrow out, to see a skeletal dragon right beside me, chattering in Alduin's voice. As soon as my crosshairs landed on the dragon, whose name was Corruptus, a new message appeared at the top of the screen saying, "This beast ruled alongside the master before he was slain, and his body thrown into the deepest pits of oblivion." Another thing I noticed was that the sky was slowly glowing from night to the swirling clouds of Sovngarde. I began to attack the dragon, who went down with relative ease, and once he was slain, there was no burning animations, no absorption of the dragon soul. Instead, a message appeared reading, "He now rests alongside Talos." With the dragon dead, I finally reached the entrance of the tomb, but it wasn't as elaborate as all the other dungeons. No, it was nothing more than a boarded up well in the ground. I entered the crypt, waiting through the loading screen, and was disturbed to see that the loading screen showed a single picture, a man in a Daedric cuirass. But every other part of his armor was missing, and the man appeared almost skinned. He was laying in a throne in a position as if he had died there. His hands and legs were tied with ropes to the arms and legs of the throne. There was no blood, but the slick pink muscle underneath the skin was clearly visible, covering his body, and reflected the light as if it were wet with water or something. The accompanying message was, "This will happen to you, Alex," and that message gave way to, "You will die on the 18th of Evening Star. Sleep, and he will come to you." It was alarming to see that the game knew my name, but I figured that the mod was pulling data from the user account. I know that some games do that. Finally, the dungeon appeared before me, and in the cryptic messages, and the objectives updated again. Completed, locate Devil's Cairn. Objective added, discover the portal.
You sure it's pulling data? Like if this were like real, not just playing the game like normal, and if it said something like, "Evan, you will die this time," then I'll be at this time. If I'd shut the game off. I honestly would.
When you get to be my age, you'll come to miss the smell of blood. Strange, I know.
Yeah, whatever. I'm looking for gold. That's a cool story, though.
The music was the same. The detailing was the same, but the bad guys were dungeon priests and shades, and the dungeons were a lot more linear than most. In fact, it just had one huge long hallway. Usually dungeons were long and constantly taking turns or curves, perhaps to create an illusion that it was larger than it really was.
Let's not waste too much time talking. There is glory to me.
But it didn't seem to end. For 5 minutes, I ran down the stairs, no bottom in sight, and I wondered if I was caught in an infinite loop. I finally reached the end, and it was very, very dark. The lighting was a bloody red, as if I were in a photographer's darkroom. I could hear the growls of the drawer, and I managed to kill them. Bones littered the floor all over the place, as did skeletons, drawer, and bandits. All were dead, their corpses labeled as grisly remains. The corridors of this floor were lined on either side with rows upon rows of destroyed coffins, and once I reached the end of the another ridiculously long and straight hall, I reached a massive circular room. Walls of coffins lined the perimeter wall, stretching almost 3 stories high, and the ceiling was some kind of vine-covered dome. The large room was open with a raised platform on the dead center. 3 steps up from the ground level, on the raised platform was a single, ornate coffin. Like the funeral pyre of Kodlak Whitemane in the end of the companion's questline, I walked up to the coffin and it read, "Press E to activate Shrine of the Blood Knight." I did, and the coffin exploded, revealing a portal like the one used at the end of the Sanguine Daedra quest. The room was filled with the sound of exploding coffins, and I looked around. I was surrounded on all sides by dragon priests. I turned back to the portal and I read, "Press E to activate Blood Knight's retreat." I did, and I was teleported away, going through another loading screen with that horrific corpse and those cryptic messages. When the level had loaded, I was once more greeted by the sound of those strange moans and whispers, the sound of the sea of ghosts, and now thunder cracked loudly. Lightning flashed all around me. Above the sky was Sovngarde again, and it had been painted a dark, sickly green. The plain before me was completely barren with dried, baked earth, and the entire landscape was coal black in color. Completed, discover the portal, objective added, slay the Blood Knight. I wandered the empty landscape, crawling with shades and Dremra. The baked desert earth before me was wide, but lined on either side with tall, impossibly high mountains. and I was forced to follow the direction it took me. The quest added drums played, and a message appeared at the top of the screen. Death is upon you. I heard the sound of a horse whinnying behind me, and turning, I saw the spirit of the Headless Horseman, now entirely black, and it growled in the voice of Dragon Priest chasing after me.
I'm gonna take some of the stuff and
like hell. I could hear it coming closer,
sell it
and now screams and moans
for
rolled
gold.
around me. Crystal clear, coming closer, the fog returned, as did the faces, and my screen flashed white and looked, and it took on an appearance as if I had used the unrelenting force shout. But the shockwave had frozen around the screen. My screen also began to glow blurry as the horseman came closer and closer to me. I narrowly arrived in a large central arena, the Headless Horseman passing through me and fading away. The voices silenced, even the wind stopped, and I heard a thud, like approaching footsteps of some massive giant. It was a demonic shrill scream, as omnipresent as anything else. And I twisted my character around, my own eyes widening as I saw something walk unsteadily towards me like a zombie. It was silhouetted at first, and my character wouldn't move. The arrow keys wouldn't respond, nothing would. And I couldn't swing or slash, I couldn't look. The voices returned again, deafening in intensity, and as I watched the creature stumble behind me, lightning flashed, revealing clean pink flesh. It stopped right in front of me, still too dark to make out any details, and I breathed heavily. Suddenly, its head shot up, its face getting right into mine, dominating the screen, and it roared at me. Its face was terrifying. Its eyes were yellow orbs, its flesh was wet-looking pink, with veins and arteries outlined in cruel detail. It was bald-headed, and parts of its muscle and the dome of its head were pulled back, revealing clean white bone. Its scream was very animal-like, not even human. A deep voice, barely audible, sounded just beneath the whispering, rumbling on in what I assumed was draconic.
Okay, never mind, I understand.
The music, which had become what Skyrim's official soundtrack had entitled Blood and Steel, suddenly skipped, as if the disc was skipping, and it kept this up as I regained control, but was immediately thrown backwards, just like in the opening scene when Alduin blasts you away from the chopping block. Everything, even the voices, were skipping now, and the creatures lunged at me, running at an almost impossible speed. Impossible to run away from them, and as it ran, its arms and heads flapped around, just like in the loading screen. He wore only a Daedric cuirass, everything else was missing, and he growled and roared at me as he changed. I barely had time to draw my sword before it pounced on me, knocking me to the ground as it sat on top of me, roaring in my face again, as its head snapped at the bottom of the screen. I assumed it was trying to bite my neck. A message appeared on the screen stating, "Press L-click to free yourself." I did, and the Blood Knight was thrown back, sword drawn, I slashed him, striking a critical hit on the first swipe, and his health bar barely depleted. And he casted a spell,
Get an
summoned
axe
Dragon
and bring
Priest.
me all the wood.
Occupied with the
Nice
Dragon
to-
Priest,
Here's
he
your
had-
reward, as
he had pounced
promised.
on me again.
Now, if you'll
I pressed the
excuse me,
L-click
I
button
have to get
again,
back
and he
to
was
work.
thrown off as I targeted him.
If you get a
Ignoring his
chance,
Dragon
collect
Priest,
you more bits.
once his
If I
health
were
bar was
you,
down to a quarter, he stumbled
take
backwards,
a look at
bending
this.
over as
Some
the
of the
game world
Jarl's men
shocked
came by and left
corrupted
this
shades. A
fountain.
lot
Look
of
like
them
a pilgrim.
appeared at the edges of the
My
central
father
arena,
doesn't-
charging at me. The activate text that had helped me throw the damn
Need
creature off of
something?
me reappeared, stating press space
Friends like
plus E plus L-click to finish him. I did, and my character leaped off the ground, lunging
hard
and
to
diving
find.
at the exhausted blood
And
as it
very
immediately roared at me again. And I sent the blade of my sword through its mouth and out the back of the skull. The animation pulled the sword from his throat, swiping it with a roar from the player as the sword decapitated the lich. As soon as I had killed the creature, the corrupted shades collapsed in death as well, and everything grew silent and still. Absolutely no sound, no music, no nothing. Total silence. The world shook and a loud rumble sounded as if something was collapsing, and a hellish, scratchy, almost metallic and tinny man's voice yelled, omnipresent and echoing, "No!" As the world I was in shook even harder, and the white light briefly flashed on the screen before fading in. The light faded away, and I found myself back on Haunted Isle. Only now that dungeon had collapsed. The well entrance had sunken in, and was now a pile of rubble and debris.
Ooh, free
The
stuff.
island was bright and sunny, with the calm, serene Skyrim atmosphere's track playing.
Too crazy.
The barren world now full of grass and healthy trees, and a statue of Akatosh was in the center of the island. The dragon's corpse had vanished, and whether that was because of the mission or because there were too many character models on the screen, I don't know. The drum sounded again, a message on the top of the screen appearing saying, "The curse has been lifted, the Blood Knight freed, and one must take his place in oblivion." And that was followed by a quest completed, Blood Knight's Retreat. I explored the island for a little bit, finding Hidden just beneath the lake, in the center of the island, a treasure chest with a key required lock. Even though I didn't think I had the key required to unlock the chest, it opened and unlocked anyways, yielding a lot of gold, some jewels, and a full set of enchanted Daedric armor and swords, labeled as the armor of the Blood Knight.
Heck yeah, free stuff.
I also searched my inventory for the key, finding an ugly, flesh-looking pink key, appearing like it was made of muscle himself, labeled as the cursed key, to which I couldn't get rid of. The game played.
You can't get rid of keys. You had them forever.
The evening star. I'm not much for sleeping, so it was well into the next year before I finally decided to get the Lover's Comfort bonus from Argonian wife, Shabi. As I did, the screen remained black after the countdown timer ended, and the Silent Footsteps dungeon music began playing. The game suddenly loaded, and I found myself once more in this strange world. In the same arena where I'd slayed the Blood Knight. The only sound was the dungeon music, and a whoosh of large, roaring, burning fire beneath the music. I once more couldn't move, but at least I could look around. I stayed in place for several minutes, wondering if the game was glitched, and I was about to turn it off when a rich black fog began to move in, slowly overtaking the land, rendering visibility to 0. Within minutes, I was completely enshrouded in this black smoke, and whispers and voices returned as the smoke once more formed twisted faces and grimaces of terror and pain. I heard loud footsteps, like someone walking on a brick, approaching me from the front, and a silhouetted man, hunched over slowly, came into view in front of me. It stopped walking, looking up at me, and within seconds had somehow zoomed right up to me, revealing a shaved version of the Blood Knight, roaring in my face. His head was still nightmarish looking. He looked like a zombie, and his open mouth grew closer until my screen was completely covered. There was a disgusting liquid punch of something, and the screen went white briefly before it went dark, and I set my desktop. I reloaded the game, trying to access my save states, but all of them had been grayed out, and when one was highlighted, the information said now taken or -dead level 5. Screenshot accompanying the saves showed a black screen. In the center of the screen was a bald-headed man. His skin flushed red, as if viewed in a photographer's darkroom. His head was kneeling forward, and the skin was stretched tautly over his bones, as I could only see blackness where his eyes were. They were sunken into his skull-like face and lost in shadow, and I could make out clean white fangs lining his mouth in a macabre smile. Crudely carved onto his forehead was a pentagram surrounded by a circle. As soon as I viewed this image, the game froze and crashed, sending me back to my desktop. I then tried reopening the game again, but I got to the main menu before crashing again. I did this 4 times, reloading the saves, and then I was forced to delete the game and reinstall it. As soon as I did, I unsubscribed from the mod and immediately deleted it from my list, never wanting to fall upon that again. The game worked again afterwards, but it had completely cleaned out all of my save states and mods, forcing me to reinstall the game and all the mods, and then restart the game and all of its achievements.
Aww.
Okay, so this is a very good creepypasta. It was lengthy,
yes,
but
it
was
is.
Very well paced.
It's really good.
Cliches, but it never really affected the creepypasta in any way, to be honest. Now, this creepypasta, like Maria's Revenge, which we've done quite recently, it's well detailed and it allows you to picture what happens quite vividly, what's going on behind the footage. Don't mention it a lot, but it's quite helpful. Now, this creepypasta doesn't really resort, thankfully, to the possible phenomenon, despite a couple times with the speakers and the actual name being mentioned. Hell, even the latter was explained quite realistically as a game, basically peeking into the user's account data on the Windows operating system. Now, the story was interesting, or rather the mod. Now, the Skyrim mod community has been huge, and the series, like the Elder Scrolls, have been graced by many modders, and many huge mods, and it's openly encouraged by Bethesda, and with the tool...
I love the fact that Bethesda actually, lets you mod. They're like, go ahead, make whatever the heck you want, They're just like, oh crap. Back, I say. Oh, he's stuck. What? Okay, he's up. Wait. You good, bro? Is there any other reaction stuff you guys want while I play video games? It could be anything. Any YouTube video at all. I don't care, I'll do whatever. Okay, I gotta get out of here.
Offered to the modder's disposal, a quest and map like this could surely exist if an experienced modder was given the task, so it doesn't really feel unrealistic whatsoever. Now, a quest like this can surely exist. Now, that being said, as far as what I really didn't like about this creepypasta was the ending. I mean, it had the build-up, and yes, we knew it was coming with the warning about the death on Evening Star, but still, it just ended, you know, in this way where, you know, we see a figure walking up, the screen going dark, your save state's then telling you your character is dead, nothing happens after that, except reinstalling the game. It just kind of threw me off. Honestly, I wish the ending was more fleshed out, maybe some conflict, hell, a real-life event happening on that day, it would have been better, and then the note we ended on here. Now, the rest of the creepypasta was brilliant, and with the detail, the phenomena building up, the little story embedded deep into this quest, telling a cryptic tale of a forgotten part of Skyrim.
Enjoyed it.
Really did interest me, but the way it ended really threw me off. And to be honest, that was the only part I really didn't like about this creepypasta. As far as the rest, it was pretty awesome. And that's all I can really say. It's realistic. It's got good build-up. You know, there's no impossible phenomena, to be honest, besides, you know, here and there, the speakers. The ending could use some work, and that's really all I can say. What would you rate this creepypasta, and what would you change to make it better? This has been another episode of Haunted Gaming, and if you like what you saw, then like, comment, and subscribe. This is me, Mudahar, and I am out.
Yeah, I don't think I'd play that. It sounds like it's copywritten. Let's do another one just because. Like, I have another quest to do. We'll do a beta disc. You know what? No, I'm gonna save that for later. I do want to do this one quest though before I end it. So why not? So it's gonna be up here. That was interesting. I really enjoyed that. I better not play that. It sounds copywritten. I would say I don't care, but I don't wanna... Oh, darn rain. I don't wanna risk it. Come on. We'll watch the beta disc another time. Blood Knight Shoot was great. I enjoyed it. There are like flies all over my TV. How y'all doing? You all doing good? I'm doing good. Yeah, so get snacks, you guys. This is a long one. I had to do this one quest real quick. Is that the giant I have to kill? Oh, there's two of them. Oh, there he goes. Oh, yeah. Oh, he's dead. Collect bounty. I don't think I can... Yeah, I can't do it in enemies nearby. Gosh darn it. I better drop some stuff. Don't need that. Oh, just in time, dude. Just in time. Oh, great. Gosh darn it. Where'd my... Where'd my girl go? It's a really nice night outside. It's just over this mountain. Oh, it's dragon trees, okay. After this, we're gonna end the video. That was a good story. I liked it. I hope all of you guys enjoyed it too. That was a lot of fun. Anyone wants any more reaction videos like this? I'll do it this way. Like, it's way easier doing it this way. Better than like loading up both videos on my phone and my TV from my PlayStation and trying to sync everything up. My old videos. Oh well. Do his quests and then we shall end it. What's up?
Divine's blessing. Excellent. You've done us a great service. Here is your reward.
Heck yeah. Money. Alright, so that's it. It's a short little video. Go subscribe to...
Another wanderer, here to lick my father's boots. Good job.
Oh, but not subscribe. Go follow everything I'm on. Every link will be in the description. My Twitch and my Twitter link will be in my description. So if you follow my Twitch, we'll have live streams, which I stream every other day at like 10 in the morning. Eastern. I'm Eastern. I'm not Pacific or whatever.
May the gods watch over your battles, friend.
I'm Eastern.
Now,
It is currently
I've got a city to keep.
2:05 in the morning. I'm probably gonna stay up late again, like I've been doing. So if anyone wants any more reaction requests, please send them in. That's what my Twitter's for.
Are you feeling all right? Ain't
And that-
nobody high and mighty in these halls.
And that's what the-
except for me. Oh, and don't you forget,
That's what the YouTube comments are for.
I might just be a servant among yours.
So I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.